For Canberra Gunners in as Dom Fang with the reverse jab, puts up the half. Oh my goodness! It was the my goodness! Straight up the way from three, puts it up and makes it to Taylor down. Pandemonium here at Alpha High. Fans on their feet. Taylor down racing. Whoa! Oh my.
I'll have a strong, smooth, creamy latte.
Be your own barista at Coles Express with award-winning Coles Urban coffee culture from just $1. Express yourself at Coles Express.
Suffer from muscle or mild joint pain? Try Kanzia Pain Relief Cream from Zia, an anti-inflammatory cream providing temporary pain relief using natural active ingredients. Experience the Zia difference at zia.com.au.
Welcome back to the Graveyard. We are here for the second round action between the men's NBL 1 Nunawading Spectres and the Ballarat Miners. 4 minutes ago up until game time. Some early conversations here leading into the game and big key points before we get started for the day. Ballarat is coming off here a tough 3-point loss battle last night to Keilor, going down 95-93 on a very, very hard-fought game. Got down 30 most of the game. Big fight and comeback. A couple big things here kind of leading into the game. We got a tweaked hamstring kind of from their leading point guard, Max. We'll see if he's actually going to be suiting up or if he's going to be out tonight. They got a few offensive principles heading into it, which we're going to talk about soon. Big times, big upbringing here between Davidson, Rudolph, and Pazaglu. You know, Thorsby's going to be one of those big-time guys that you're going to be looking for early on into the game. Constant shooter Jake Lloyd also is going to be making, kind of that transfer in from Bendigo, getting his first start. You know, he's new to the group. That's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how that works. Tyler Rudolph, another one of those under-the-radar type players, you know, with all the threes that he can hit. He's a solid guy. He adds value as much as any big in the league. He's got no fuss or ego about him and just kind of goes about his business, and he knows how to play the game well. You know, it's awesome here seeing a lot of these, you know, kind of Division II and Division III where you got Davidson, you know, kind of D3 Player of the Year. And then you've also got some connections in the D2 platform as well. You know, so you really got some good lineup, and then you obviously got the big-time powerhouses coming out between Will Carius, Jalen Gibbs. You've got Tada healthy here, kind of coming off of a broken hand. You got a big-time fourth-quarter performance and win coming off to Kingsley Box, you know, out at the Knox Basketball Stadium last night, or on Saturday night. So it's going to be an outstanding look coming into this game. A lot of good things to keep in mind, a lot of things to look out for in the match and contest. We will get back to you shortly. Watching at home, we've got 1 minute until tip-off, again, between the Nunawading Spectres and the Ballarat Miners here at the Graveyard at Nunawading Basketball Stadium in Burwood East. A couple major sponsors to give a quick shout-out to: the Quest Burwood East, Snitz Burwood, McKay Timber, Nunawading Toyota, and the Forest Hill College Basketball Academy. Unbelievable groups and some organizations that are giving in some major contributions here to Nunawading. A few things to take note, and I will try to get a conversation or a notice about this. I don't see Tomasi down in the lineup tonight for Nunawading. No Tomasi tonight. We will find some information on what's happened with that, but Tomasi I don't think is available tonight for Nunawading, so that's going to be an interesting year. So we got a different starting lineup between Gandolfo. We got Kingsley Box, we got Jalen Gibbs, we got Will Carius on the floor. Starting lineup here for Ballarat. I don't know all of their names exactly. I know we got Zoggs on the floor, we got Thosby on the floor, we got Davidson on the floor. We got new to the starting lineup here. I was having a good conversation with Luke Sunderland before the game. Sliding in Jake Lloyd, you know, kind of coming in from Bendigo. It's his first start here for the night. You know, obviously with the point guard going out last night here with a bit of an injury to his hamstring. It'll be interesting to see how we get underway here. Tip-off's underway here at the Graveyard. Zagu starts early with the ball. Ballarat getting good movement kind of from sides and hands, playing through it. See if they expose early post mismatches here on the inside. Good early bucket there. It's going to be a load if you get some different mismatches. Kingsley's probably going to need a double down there on the post on the inside. I know Nunawading's going to be looking to go probably through Carius a lot here, coming off a big 30-point game last night. Right back into the early mix of things. It's a good sign for him just to see it get an early one in through the hole. good move, good rebound ripped by Baxter. Gibbs is out pushing. Gibbs is one of those players. He can push the pace. And that's one of those things that Nunawading, Jackie's smooth. He's under control. He's poised. Gibbs is a jet. You get him out, you get Baxter running out on those kind of Draymond styles. Good run, good push by Jack. That's his finish, getting up with those kind of early finger rolls. This is a matchup of bulls right here. Zoglu and Will Harris going at each other. Those are two grown-ass men that are going to be doing some hard-fought battles. They both love to drive. They both love to get at each other, kind of put that pressure on the rim, finish in and around the basket. I'd probably say the shooting edge goes to Carius. Athleticism edge, Will, I love you, man, but I think Zoglu's got that one. I should know because Flinny, welcome into the broadcast here. Coach Flynn joining us now, coming off of a good win tonight versus Ballarats. Kind of ran the table with them start to finish, and we'll get to that. But Flinny, I don't know if you remember 2017, my first year here with Nunawading. The scouting report on Nick Plazoglu was decent athlete. That was the scouting report from my former coach, Dave Bewer. He had a drive down the left wing, came across the middle, and I was on my heels. That man baptized me so bad on that dunk. That was one of 2 times in my life I went for a block and just lost the battle.
Well, there's 2 things in that. One, Coach Bewer, he's a master of subtlety. And 2, Plazoglu, he's an elite athlete at this level.
Elite.
We saw him into the NBL with the Perth Wildcats a couple of years ago.
Big shot.
Nice shot by Carius there. He gives him a bit of a look on the back end of that as well. But Plazoglu, elite athlete. We saw him in the NBL, did well over there. Great to see him back at Ballarat for the Miners.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great matchup. Carius off to an early start here. Ballarat's kind of their conversation points heading into the game is they got to trust their system. Their offense, they are an offense that lets the offense kind of create the shot for you. They don't have a lot of guys who are just going to go one-on-one and go get a bucket and go to work.
Nice little drive there by Davidson. Got his feet in the paint, drew a couple of players. Didn't make the shot, but Rudolph was there to clean it up.
And Rudolph is one of those ones that Coach made a good emphasis here kind of before the game to start. Talking about that he is under the radar, with the threes that, Ballarat tends to make. He is a consistent low post threat, creating his shots, finishing. Another big one here for Carius. He's hot early.
He is hot early. Picking up right where he left off on Thursday night at the State Basketball Centre in the Spectres win over the Knox Raiders.
Oh, that 3 ball's absolutely been falling for him, and that's a good sign for Nunawading. I know of anybody who loves a 3, these 2 coaches love a 3 ball.
Nice shot there by Davidson.
Davidson, another one of those. I think he was, apologies, I had some conversations there. Davidson, you're going to have to forgive me. I think he was Wabash. Wabash, D3 Player of the Year. And shout out to another fellow D3 guy coming out here. Good read.
Nice hands there by Gandolfo.
Gibbs, get a left hand. Gibbs is the epitome of an opposite of Costas Renopoulos. Gibbs is right, and more right, but also 3 times the athlete. No offense, Costa. Ball, there you go. Jay gonna talk that talk too. I love it. These 2 guys, they get out, they clap a little bit, they'll talk a little smack. Frankly, that's just part of the American culture, and that's what we're gonna do out here, and it's fun. It adds an element to the game. You get the crowd involved, you get some excitement in it. Keeps the intensity, the pace of the group. Good snatch, good rip.
Miners looking to put the Spectres in as many pick and rolls as possible early here.
Yeah, coach knows. Good crash. Dangerous kind of rebound there. Respect the effort. When you got one early one, that can be a quick, easy second foul. Good second crash. Cash. Saw that coming.
Nice deep 3 there by Gibbs. He's
Big
pretty
time
pumped
shot.
going into the timeout. Timeout Ballarat. Spectres take a 16-8 lead early here in the first quarter at the Graveyard.
No, that's already 4 of 7, 57% now already from the 3. 4 of 7. That's quick. 7 threes in what is that? 4 minutes of play? That's big time start to the game. Ballarat's only got 2 up for the game here. It's kind of its early start. Gibbs already got 8 points. Carius got 8 points. 2 of them got 100% of the scoring effort. I see him in the gym constantly. Those are 2 guys that put in the work. You know, I can't speak for Sunderland, you know, but Sunderland knows his guys, and I know that what he used to do out at the Elite Edge basketball program, you know, he's one of those guys that I've actually known for quite a while. He was down at, you know, 5 a.m., Frankston, training guys. He actually used to train Kingsley Box, and that's how I actually first got my introduction to Kingsley, was through Luke Sunderland when he used to do his Elite Edge down there. Kingsley was in grinding 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, and that's another one of those guys. You know, we talk about Kingsley, you know, coming off of some adversity, the knee injuries, the scraps and the battles that he's come through. He had a massive fourth quarter, finishing out that Knox game. Actually got up and caught a body. He's been talking about getting one all year. Took him 2 games to get one. That was fun to see. See if Ballarat can get some more action here, get some better flow to their offense. They don't want to be in a hurry to score. You know, Ballarat is happy to have this score go, you know, 75, 60, you know, 68, if you want to get that as kind of your final score. He'll go to work on Baxter.
Nice little jump shot there by Rudolph.
Oh, Rudolph's got that game. And that's, you know, Coach talked about that. He credits him, you know, with the work, that he is under the radar. And you see it early. He's been going to work. I think he's got all 10 of their points. Quick release 3. Good offensive rebound there. Gotta keep the possession alive.
A little bit long there on Gibbs. Ballarat off to the races. Bazoglu gets in.
That's 2 on Carius. Checking into the game here, we got Nick Tata, and then we got Jordy coming in as well. That's a big early second foul. You kind of, you know, you're still, you know, you come off that, you know, fresh game there. You're feeling really good. You're hitting some threes. You're playing with that high intensity. But Zaglu's a pro, and he's going to, okay, you know, I'll see all your high-powered scoring efforts, you know, and I'll take the rest of his time on the bench. And he's going to put pressure on you. And that's, you know, that's his game. He's not a really consistent shooter, so he's going to put that heat on the rim. And that's, you know, with the athleticism, that's where he is his weapon, where if you wall up and just stay straight up, he's strong enough to bounce off and then get vertical. If you're late, you're going to get real vertical. Good push, but this is good here. Tata's coming back. He's been having a great time in training. You know, God, I was watching the Bulls today, and we were watching Andre Drummond. That's who Tata reminds me of. No, pull that. No, don't pull the 3, Baxter. There you go. Get to the rim. That's your game. Good finish, good look by Gibbs there on that pick-and-roll pocket pass.
It's nice to see Tata back in the lineup here for the Spectres, particularly with what appears to be the absence of Josh Tomasi.
Yeah, we'll find some information on that and see if that's just an illness, you know, family emergency or what that may have been. There's Rudolph again, staying active. You know, it's good, you know, when you have those little conversations with Coach and he makes that points of emphasis and you see it first person. Hit one, backs. Good board.
Nice pressure on the O boards there by Gibbs. I mean, that's where he's going to fill up the stat sheet, isn't it? Like, I mean, we know that he's an elite level shooter. However, if he can start adding a couple of chippies in here and there off some O boards, I mean, his line is going to be full.
And he's got that. And, you know, the level of athletes, you know, Gibbs playing at, you know, Jacksonville State, you know, Moore State, big time D1. I know his last one was Jacksonville State, you know, but playing in an NCAA tournament, used to playing against the level of athletes he's played against. You know, by no means do you discredit, get another one. You discredit what the Australian talent is, but he's got the athleticism to go get, you know, those 2 or 3, you know, kind of cheap offensive, you know, I'm never going to call an offensive rebound cheap, but get those, just those work rate buckets, you know, kind of the way that, you know, Mahalko does for your team, or that, you know, that Pierce does. It just kind of keeps that score thing ticking over. So it's good early effort here, good pace to the game to start, 2015 to start.
Miners come back in off the side. Geordie Gear got himself tangled up. Early foul for him. Oh, nice ball movement there by the Miners.
Gibbs going to go. That's one of those things, you know, it's, you know, love Gandolfo. I mean, and he'll watch this film, and he knows that. Coach is always kind of screaming at him, you know, go, 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 go. You don't got to tell Gibbs to go. Go to work on him, Tata.
Nice touch. Little baby jump hook there. Nice finish. Got good hands.
He does.
Big man, he's got really good hands.
He's got great hands, and when I say, and if you look at, when I say the name Andre Drummond, and then you look at him and you go, I mean, Tata he's one of those, he's almost 6'10", 6'9", probably about 100 and, probably about 120, 125, and he knows he's still trying to slim down. He's trying to get in that elite athletic shape. He's got soft touch. He's got a good-looking jumper. His footwork around the rim, athleticism, he communicates.
Oh, good ball movement
Thosby
again by
gonna hit that. That's cash all day for Thosby. I've been late on too damn many of those rotations. Thosby, good three ball. Settled into a good contest here. Action, the pace, decision-making, high level.
Oh, nice.
Good read.
Nice read there by Gear. Good to see Tristan Devers in early.
Devers in. That's a big screen by Tata there on that roll. Tata's trying to hedge a three-quarter court on-ball screen. I think you should just get back and plug the lane, buddy. I know him pretty well. Part of me almost wanted to take my mic down and go, Tata, get back.
Second personal foul there on Geordie Gear. So a couple of Spectres in early foul activity. Saw similar in the women's game a little bit earlier. We saw Rachel Brewster had to come to the bench early in that first quarter.
Early in that score. And then that was just scrapping bodies on the ground, people fighting for loose balls. I never know how to say the names. Wirung. Sorry, apologies. Kind of talking about the game. I mean, she was going to have to have 50 in that game. She almost.
I mean, she is a quality player. I mean, not
good.
just at this level. I mean, she can fill up a stat sheet in a WNBL game. We've seen her in the emerging opals. We've seen her represent Australia at uni games. She is a quality basketball player.
Absolutely. Good D, good shot there. Geordie with a big-time three ball.
Nice to see Abby Wareham back home in Ballarat too. It's where she
Get up, Max. Hey!
And the foul.
The man who allegedly lives above the rim. It's nice to see him visit it once at one game every week. Let's get up on one, Max.
Got to go home for family dinner once a week.
There you go. Now, that being said, Back's way to put one down. When number 23 in white is on the floor. Kind of watching him last night, I think he had about two. I heard about this infamous little putback dunk he had on somebody against Coleman Bach instantly.
Nice there by Coleman Bach.
Coleman Bach is going to have 17 offensive rebounds in 4 minutes. D'Angelo for a big-time three. Good.
Really impressed with D'Angelo's minutes on Thursday night in the Spectres win over the Knox Raiders.
Good hands again by Devers.
He's another one of those Spectres youngins that's in the stadium regularly getting up shots, working on his game, adding his dribble moves in.
Oh, great job with that. Keep on moving. Hurley eye on ball. Hard hedging here from Nunawading. Bit of a scramble rotation. DHO side pick rolls. Aglu on the downhill. Good rotation there by D'Angelo. Nunawading's off and running. Put some early push on ball. Get your explorer on the floor. Find your shooters in the corners.
Nice finish there by Geordie Gear.
Or go 1-on-3 against guys bigger than you and get an and-one finish. We'll take that decision as well.
I'll tell you what's impressive. We talked about the Miners putting the Spectres into some pick-and-roll actions. Their bigs and the activity early in terms of their show, allowing the guards to get through and over so seamlessly.
Devers up. Oh. Good push and good pace. This is how Nunawading started off against Mount Gambier as well. And Ballarat started off slow last night against Keilor. Kind of watching the game, it's, they got down 30. It's kind of a big time getting down, and they scrapped back and ended up 95-92 with a loss. But they started slow. They kind of didn't look like they were really that into, but they're well coached. They're disciplined. They're patient. And they got high-level athletes who can consistently knock down shots. Nunawading will set the pace, but Ballarat will not fall into the trap of getting out of their own.
Absolutely. We see Davidson at the line here. It was a fairly reasonable defensive effort there by Coleman Bock. He got out, he showed his footwork was nice and clean. Unfortunately, his arms were just down. And that meant we see Ballarat at the line for 2. Gear bringing it up for the Spectres. Taking a little bit longer to get into their action. You want to go to that mid-on ball with about 8 seconds to go.
Yeah, they're going to stay in that mid-on ball. They're going to double tags. And 1.
Oh, nice take there by Tristan Devers. That'll be a foul that Coach Sunderland wouldn't be too impressed with giving up just before the quarter break.
Well, I mean, that's an aggressive chase down foul from behind. You just kind of take a big swing, and that's an all or nothing. You're going to get that, or you're going to follow through and get it on.
Kingsley box in for the last 2.8 seconds. I think they're just saving gear from getting overly excited and picking up an unnecessary third.
Nunawading shooting outstanding, 9 of 10 from the floor, 90%, 40% from 3 still. You get an early throw ahead, just going to put one up, unless you give up some type of cheap over the top. Osby can hit this, though, if you give him a good run.
That was a pretty clean look. It's amazing how much floor distance you can cover in 2.8 seconds. Spectres lead 35-24, quarter time here at the Graveyard. Take this opportunity to thank a couple of our sponsors here. Quest Burwood East. Quest Burwood East provides an accommodation experience for both the corporate and leisure traveller. Centrally located in Burwood with close connections to Mount Waverley, Glen Waverley, Blackburn and surrounding suburbs, only 21 kilometres east of the Melbourne CBD. Whether your stay is for business or leisure, you'll be able to enjoy all the things that come standard with the Quest Burwood East experience. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank McKay Timber, Nunawading Basketball, big supporters of Nunawading Basketball, and their continued support of the Nunawading Spectres this NBL 1 South season. McKay's is the major manufacturer and suppliers of timber to Australian and international marketplaces. 100% Australian owned and operated. Take a look at McKay Timber Range today.
Got a little bit of an update there from the Nunawading health staff. Tomasi is out tonight with food poisoning.
Food poisoning?
Yes. Don't know where he ate, but I know it was not schnitz.
Definitely not schnitz. We love schnitz.
No, I had schnitz before the game again.
That is shamelessly why I was late for the broadcast. I was too busy just grabbing the schnitz.
Finish the game, you got to get up and get your snacks. No, it's good. It's got a good contest here. 11-point lead for Nunawading heading into it. You know, right now scoring leaders for the games. Gibbs again with that early 10, Carius with that early 8, but there's 2 fouls going into it. Gibbs also leading rebounder at 4 for the game. You know, I know coach has got his minutes in his rotations, you know, but Gibbs he's eager, he's seething to get back out there. You know, and you kind of want to see that here. You know, it's just when you play at this kind of, you know, this game at this level, you got your systems and you got your structures and you know your timely rotations. You know, how much of that as a coach, you know, do you look at and run with between when you come into a game, you know, with your plan and structure, and then how much of that is like on-the-fly adaptation to, all right, you know, you're hot, we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a balance. I mean, the thing is when you get an early lead, you want to use it as an opportunity to get people involved in the game. I mean, you want to feel their rhythm. Nice shot there by Box. You want players to get into their rhythm, but you want to try and get as many of your players down your bench into rhythm because you can't always guarantee that there's going to be minutes there for them late. But if a player gets into foul trouble, you want to know that who you're checking into the game knows what they're getting in for.
Absolutely. I like that. You know, and that's, again, as a player, I don't know if I've actually ever asked another head coach, you know, hey, if I'm hot and I got it cooking, why are you not playing me the rest of the game? And then you just, when you hear that understanding and you try to, that's the art of coaching, is how to get, you know, again, if he cools off and all of a sudden you got to get the rest of your guys in form. And that's what you look at, like when Box came in. Box didn't have a big-time game against Knox for the whole start of it, and then massive minutes in the fourth.
Yeah,
you know, that's a really good sign to see. So
well, I think the example we use here is I mean, nice finish there underneath. You look at the example, Keris is in early foul trouble, so great opportunity for us. We saw Tata come in early, Coleman Bock's in now. Coleman Bock was actually a real spark for the Spectres. Coleman Bock was actually a real spark for the Spectres in their first home game of the season versus Mount Gambier.
Absolutely.
So, you know what? We know that Keris is going to come back and we know he's going to be a major minutes player, but with 2 early fouls, is he going to be there late in the fourth? Coleman Bock's getting some valuable time now. He's going to have some rhythm. He's going to have a feel for it. He knows what he's in for. So that if this game is still close in the fourth, there's somebody who's not coming in completely cold to what's happening.
Absolutely. Good leading game. We got Rudolph still leading all scorers here for Ballarat with 12 for the game. Davidson at 9. Thosby at 3. Backs finishing off 1 of 2, splitting the free throws. Other lead, we're still at 39-26 here in the way of Nunawading. Ballarat's going to continue grinding. Some other side DHO action. Hard, good put on the floor. Great wall up around the rim defensively. Good driving kick and a split corner 3. Davidson will take that one all day. Oh, that's a big screen.
Big foul call. It's a portion of the Spectres way.
Flinny, you're even having flashbacks from running through those, or you setting that, because I know damn well you'd have put a bit of a shoulder probably into that one.
Just a tiny one. Beavers just steps out of bounds on that one, and Ballarat ball.
Yeah, Ballarat's not going to go away. You know that. They're going to continue running their space and reads.
Thosby checking back into the game.
Thosby back in just 1 of 1, just one shot, that 3 ball that he hit.
Seen Thosby at a couple of different stops. He's been at Ballarat before. We saw him at Knox. I know he was involved in the 3-on-3 side of things when the hustle first started to come about.
Little side pick roll action. Thosby, another corner 3. Good. Backs to get out and push. I like when Backs rips rebounds and just kind of Draymonds it down the floor. Just kind of pushes to those elbows, turns. Like what Jordy just did, but just from the push and just find all the shooters running down in transition. Jordy, corner 3.
Good look.
Knock this one down.
Well, I think what we see with Baxter is, I mean, he played most of his junior basketball as a guard. He was a late sprouter. Definitely wasn't as big and strong of a presence on the floor throughout his junior career. So that's the strength of him as a big for Nunawading now. He can crush the glass and start the transition break.
He's got that good. Nunawading's got that where like probably five of them can just rip it and push. Jordy can rip it and go. Devers can, Gibbs can, Baxter can, Carius can. And you can run different leads out of either of them coming down the floor. Carius and Baxter are going to look to those early DHOs, kind of playing out of the corner, or just play from those, kind of explore the floor through the elbows. You know, Devers, Gibbs, Gandolfo, and then Gear are just going to play from those early on-ball pushes and reads. You got 6 guys kind of coming down the floor with different options. There's another one.
Nice turnaround jump shot there by Rudolph. Banks it in off the glass. I was about to say, margin's at 13 now. Okay, what's Ballarat's focus here, Dane?
Limit them to more of these tough contested twos. Right now, Nunawading is getting their favorite shots. The split kick extra type threes, you know, kind of these early on ball looks. You know, and then, you know, coach kind of good hands on the, we'll call that one questionable. I'm a Nunawading guy, but I'll call that questionable.
Carius checking back in for the Spectres here. Giving Coleman Bock the break.
You know, I mean, you know, but you look at it as Ballarat, you know, well, you're 2 of 7 from the 3. Nunawading is 6 of 15. You know, you're letting a 3-point shooting team get them up. You know, when you're letting them give it up and they're shooting, you know, 40%, you know, it's kind of you'll kind of live with it, but they are right now. It's, you know, they're out-rebounding them. Ballarat's out-rebounding 8-7. Ballarat does have 4 turnovers. It's just, right now, it's just kind of a make-miss. Nunawading's just made more shots. Limit them to tough contested ones.
Carius wasting no time at all getting back into the action.
Yeah, but when you're pro and you train as much, again, if you have a groove, you know, that idea of tough contested shots, well, when you practice tough contested shots, you can't let him get the rhythm. The contest almost doesn't matter. It's that infamous Mark Jackson phrase, hand up, so what?
Carey's doing a good job keeping his hands out, walled up pretty well on that.
They will go at Carius, but he is disciplined enough, he's well coached enough that he'll keep his hands up. He's strong enough to take the body hits and not get moved. Let's go in Ballarat.
Over his leg.
Good, Gibbs back in. Let's see if we can get him rolling again.
I'd expect him for the Miners.
You'd expect him to stay hot early and really keep kind of pushing the pace here. Nunawading doing a really good job of being out hard. That's one of the things that they were kind of talking about. Kind of talking to a few of them going into the last game. They wanted to get out way more on the ball screens. That's foul. Now I'm going to ask an obvious question. Who is this guy? Because I don't know anything about Rudolph, but Coach Sunderland seemed to say that this is one of the most underrated guys in the league in terms of, again, Ballarat's kind of known and Sunderland's known kind of as this three-point shooting coach and team. But he's solid.
Very solid.
Do you know much about him?
No, not at all. And I admit, I came in late for the commentary team this week, so I didn't do any homework on it.
No, but I mean, you kind of, you do some homework and you do some research on some guys. I'm trying to ask a couple questions, but, when Coach kind of gives that, that was a Larry Bird type three there, Kingsley. Shot fake, keep it up, and then just fire the thing.
The thing is you mentioned how the Miners are a three-point shooting team, or they're coached by Sunderland, who's a three-point shooting coach, but, those teams need a guy like Rudolph in there to do the grunt work. And the more efficient and effective he is doing his grunt work, the more he's going to be able to reward himself.
There's another one that's going in, not short. And that's what I've always, again, it's speaking openly and candidly, just, from my own personal opinion, you want a three-point shooting team, you still have to have an interior presence, I believe, just because of what it does with collapsing the defense. And sometimes when as much as you're always trying to break and crack the perimeter shell and kind of play from those early on-ball pushes and the staggered down screens and the Iverson cuts, and that's any team. That's not just Nunawading. When you look at what Mount Gambier does, and Mount Gambier's kind of had consistently, they had Marshall, they had Harris, they were just kind of a run and gun. And all of a sudden they got Lampkin, and you can just, they hit you three ball, and then it's just post game. And now if you double, now it's open, wide open three ball. Too big. Good move, good defense. Way to stay straight up on that one there. Cash, good little soft touch, good shot. Those still, he's kind of finding his. He's finding his range, he's finding his groove. Floater. Jesus, ugly. Flashbacks. Yeah, that's a box. Good try, good effort.
Second personal foul there for Baxter.
I will say that's Baxter's game. You could never tell, Baxter, be smarter, time and score. Do we need to burn that foul right there? Baxter's game is going to be those effort plays, those scrap plays. Try to get that one or two extra possessions per game. If Baxter, if he fouls out, he fouls out. He's kind of one of those guys, you take what he gives every single game. If that's 5 fouls and 3 rebounds in his madman effort, you play it.
Absolutely. Timeout called by Ballarat. Quest Burwood East timeout. The Nunawading Inspectors would like to thank Nunawading Toyota, the landmark dealership for Toyota, setting a new standard in satisfying your motoring needs. Nunawading Toyota is Victoria's one-stop shop for new vehicles, servicing, parts, finance, insurance, as well as offering one of Victoria's largest and best quality pre-owned vehicle ranges. We talk about Nunawading Toyota. Dane, I know you were there last night for the season launch. Early opportunity, but a little bit of a late fire for a season launch, a couple of rounds in, but great night had by all for the Nunawading Inspectors senior teams, their sponsors, their members, and key personnel from the city of Whitehorse. Absolutely down at Nunawading Toyota.
Having the mayor of Whitehorse down there. And also the co-mayor down there, and then the Bretts kind of coming in, showing us an unbelievable time. We touched on this during the women's game as well. But they're a great sponsor, and every club, and every single club in Australia, and playing all across the world, in Spain, Romania, and Serbia, and all a bunch of different countries throughout Europe. It's while you do have kind of the branding and relationships, in those European countries, the community involvement consistently amongst these rep clubs that get out and get active in the community and the development programs, and you're in the schools, and the faces are known and the guys are recognizable. Big float game.
Take there by Gibbs.
And that is one of the things. You come out to Australia to play professional basketball. You're part of the community. You kind of go to Europe. You train 5 days a week. You sit in your house if you don't want to, or if you just want to do nothing. You're there to play basketball, and for some guys, that's it. Out here, no, you're.
Nice post-entry action there. Dive cut from the top by the Miners. Didn't quite pull off.
Another one. That's
to the
it.
Races.
Good look. Gibbs got to find his rhythm again, and sometimes, again, he's one of those guys. That's a hit pointer. Back's going to feel that one tomorrow. And Gibbs off running. Good. Find Gandolfo. 3-ball.
Needs this.
Good run. Good look. That's good to see when Gibbs and Gandolfo are out there on the floor at the same time, that either of them can just rip it and push it, because both of them can play that early push on ball or a lot of their actions.
Absolutely. Love to see the ball in Gibbs' hands a little bit more on that push.
This is one.
Talbot checking in here for the Miners.
Relation to Steph? Talbot family?
No, I'm not sure.
There's so many families of basketball players out here.
Ballarat's on the way to South Australia, so it's possible.
He's working. Big man is working. Good push, good run there by Ballarat, kind of staying in this game, really making a good contest of it.
We've got another Questfield East timeout, this time to the Spectres. Coach Cutler not happy with his team's effort out of that last break.
Coach Cutts is one of those. You got a 14-point lead. It's just, he is never one of those where there's always something to improve and tighten up. And he is a perfectionist. And there's that level that you kind of respect out there, that as much as you always kind of sometimes as a player you want to be patted on the back. You want to be told awesome job and good work. And he's doing a really good job of balancing that out this year with kind of being a fan of his guys. And every new coach that kind of comes into the league, you want to find that rhythm of he's a two-time Kilsyth. He's a two-time youth champion, should have been 3 arguably. But you find that transition when you get into the professional level of really making sure that each of these guys have their own personalities. When you coach the youth guys, they're still a bit naive. They don't really have that much character on the floor. They're just they're still at the level, go out there, do exactly what coach says, don't screw up, and that's how we win games. The pros, as you start dealing with grown men who have their own opinions and kind of have come from different backgrounds and different ways of learning the game, you got to adapt, kind of to how each individual player runs. And it's really awesome to see him kind of find that mix this year with the group he's had, and it's showing in their early performances.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one good thing about it, though. Like, we look at it, and we've always seen the Big V Victorian Youth Championship, as we see a foul there called by the Miners. It'll get carriers for the line. But we've seen the Victorian Youth Championship division of the Big V be a grounding space for so many players to come up and make that transition from junior basketball into the senior space. It's nice that we're starting to see some coaches make that transition as well. I know I spent a number of years coaching in the VYC competition, and then to be able to come into the NBL one and use that experience.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing you see, though, is like in this particular example with Coach Cutler, like a number of his players have graduated up out of the VYC into the NBL 1 men's team as well.
And that's awesome. And then you got that familiarity, and that's like as any coach, those guys that you can kind of know how hard you can coach them, how much you can get on them. That's good. Stretch that lead back out to 15, 2:30 to go here in the second quarter. Good move. Good strong balance and finish there. Now Jake Lloyd, again, that's that Bendigo transfer that Coach Sunderland had to slot into the starting lineup. With Dunn obviously out there with his injury. Had a bit of a hamstring tweak last night. Good find in the corner, box for 3.
Hey, that's the look that you want to get.
It is. We'll take a Kingsley corner 3 any day of the week.
not sure Gandolfo can argue that one. It's one thing to step up and bump the cutter. It's another thing to give him a little cuddle on the way through. Davidson finds himself back at the charity stripe. I don't think I've seen a player shoot foul shots with his feet so close together.
Like he's about to putt.
It works.
Maybe he's a golfer and he can't get out of that putting. Drive for show, putt for dough, and he's not breaking the habit on his foul shots.
Oh, he's looking dangerous, isn't he?
All right, there's a part of me that wants to talk so much smack. It's not so much smack. Working out today with him in the gym.
Oh, nice dive cut there.
Great find
by Rudolph. Fantastic finish.
Working today on hitting that little. He loves Jason Tatum, some of those type players, looking on that little pound, that side step to that right, pulling that shot. It's his athleticism and strength. He's kind of one of those guys. He gets it up so quick and elevates. It's just literally a flick of the wrist. He's a country boy.
Rudolph makes it a three-point play. Gandolfo finds himself on the bench with 3 fouls of his own.
It's his third for the game. Obviously, while he was sitting early. That's his big body. Driving, good push, though. Rudolph still making big impact on this game. He's still got 18. And he ducks in, he looks for it. He's got good base.
Presents to the ball nicely.
Presents amazing. Left-hand hook, right-hand hook, fadeaways. He's got mid-range jump shots. Ballarat fans, if you're watching, we'll do some research on this young man, and I'll be giving him some credit wherever he's coming from because it is well-deserved. That boy can play some ball. Good move, Jordy. Yeah, Jake Lloyd, he had you in the spin cycle on that one. Good drive, Jordy. Good finish there. Again, I expect that's going to feed him.
Rudolph. You know what he does well? He's in the post up. He's got Baxter all over him. He's down in the low stance. His chest stays to the ball. The ball moves, and he's keeping his chest nice and square to the ball. So he's a really good target for the Miners in there. I think they should just keep going at him.
Absolutely. It's, if you it's reminiscent of what Lampkin did.
Absolutely.
And that's, I know that coach is probably going to be sitting here and he's looking at Tata. He's looking at, Coleman Bach down here at the end of the bench. Or, respectfully, as hard as Baxter works, it's the Durant philosophy. It's, you're not going to stop him from shooting. There's just certain shots that you don't want to let him take. And it's the hand up, so what? And if you let a guy like that get to his spot, with those little baby hooks, that's not a tough contested two. When bigs practice their shots around the rim, it's always over dummy defense or over a pad or a box. And if you just wall up and put your hands up, but he can just out-jump you, that's not even a contest. So they're going to have to look to double him, or Baxter's going to have to start fronting, or you're going to probably have to put a different lineup between putting Tata or Coleman Bach on him and see if they can defend him one-on-one. I know Bax brings that speed and the pace offensively, but good push, off and running. They got 4 on the clock and still get a good one.
Spectres unable to capitalise on that last break. They have an 11-point lead here at halftime at the Graveyard. Miners have done pretty well that quarter to keep it at 11. They are a chance of having it extend out a little bit, but they regroup. We've spoken about Rudolph getting the ball there.
Yeah, Rudolph leading all scorers at 24 points for the game, 8 rebounds. Davidson sitting at 11, Dosby at 5. Gibbs still sitting at 14, Carius at 14. Greer is at 11. Gibbs also the leading rebounder for Nunawading at 6. Assist leaders for the game, Devers at 2, and Jake Lloyd is at 3. You look at, any kind of the differences of the game. My stat sheet just goes down, but if you look at the differences of the game and what you're watching, it's a 10-point lead. Is it just a make or miss right now? Spectres are making a few more shots because, you're getting a pretty balanced scoring effort. Obviously, you start chalking in those stops, but what do you see?
Well, I think the Spectres have been able to get out and transition a little bit more. putting some easy buckets, and we saw Ballarat go to that a little bit earlier with Kazoglu. It sort of dried up a little bit for them. The Spectres have been able to keep pushing out. Now, the one thing I think the Spectres have done exceptionally well defensively is the way that they're guarding on balls. We spoke about Ballarat getting into on-ball scenarios early and putting early and often, but the Spectres have done a solid job of defending that in both the big and the guard positions.
Yes. And that was one of the things that, they talked about heading into this. Sorry, watching half-court shots, it almost looks like they're going in every time. They talk about that kind of going into it where, Nunawading has got, it's different, and obviously being a former player, kind of how we played. I was a drop coverage. I was a guy, I'd be in drops constantly. I'd always be back. I'd always be kind of sagged off, but I was really good at containing. But now they got guys that are up and in. They're really stabbing the on balls. They're hard hedging and showing, and they're kind of really trying to be on the forefoot defensively. Pick up points in transition or much earlier. Pick up points on the ball screens. Like I said, you saw, who was it, Tata trying to hedge a ball screen, three-quarter court. He's going with the philosophy. So I know coaches, both these are high-level coaches that make some great halftime adjustments, and we'll see if we come back into the second half. We'll leave you until then. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Welcome back to the graveyard. We're about to hit second half action. Second half brought to you by Southern Cross Computer Systems, a great Australian company that's been delivering corporate technology solutions to the great southern land for over 35 years. With a belief in creating lasting relationships which inspire everyone around through innovative technology solutions. Southern Cross Computer Systems seek to understand your needs by evaluating workplace roles, the technology you use today and the future directions and consequent requirements of your technology to be able to deliver a lasting solution for your company.
Also, welcome back to the graveyard. Here again, Dane Sotala, joined by head coach of the Nunawading NBL1 South Women Inspectors, Paul Flynn. Got a great game here on hand. We got 57-46 in the way of Nunawading. Started the second half. Had a little bit of a conversation there going back into the game. It's just a talking point, catching up with Luke Sunderland. Did have a bit of a communication, and for those listening at home and probably all of his people, apologies. You know, we've got our boy Rudolph here, D2 All-American out of Minot State, which is up in the Dakotas. And again, that is a tough place to go play basketball. And I don't mean that any disrespect, but North Dakota, it is cold and it is snowy. But he is out there and he is putting in that work, and it is well-deserved. And Coach is really, really high on who he is as a player. You know, he's a D2 All-American, and then you got out of Wabash from Indiana, you got Davidson, D3 Player of the Year. You know, and again, he's one of those guys. Workhorse, there you go.
Nice drive by Gibbs, lost the handle on it.
I love that. I know Sunderland, I think one of his former imports was a Wisconsin guy, and again, he's not another Wisconsin guy, Indiana guy, we got Iowa guy, the Midwest. We like it out here in Australia because we come from the cold. We come from all these, you know, ridiculous states. I remember when I first came out here and I'd stay down in Frankston, and everybody's like, oh, I thought that was paradise. Are you kidding me? Coming from Iowa and you're going to live on a town with a beach? Jordy 3-ball, corner pocket. Good find there by Carius.
Great start there by the Spectres. Exactly what they spoke about in the halftime break.
So it makes a little bit of sense there why Rudolph is so good at posting and presenting. He's a D2 Midwest low back. Good looking shot though too.
Hey, there you go, stretch the floor. It's one of those evolutions of the game, isn't it? Like years ago, you'd never have seen the big guy step out and shoot the three. Now it's almost a requirement.
It is absolutely a requirement, but it's taken to an extreme that it's hard to explain. A la Mo Bamba type guys like that for the Lakers. It's just all he does. You're either a rim protector in defense or you're 3-and-D. That's it. You shoot threes and play defense. And then you got some of these, these 7'1" guys. Good find. Kingsley, 3-ball corner pocket. Carius does a great job with that. That's another thing here where, Coach will continue to learn his game and everybody will continue to learn each other's game.
Oh, nice hustle there by Jordy Gear.
Oh, my. Again, you talk about bulls going at it. Zaglu and Carius meeting at the rim. Can we get like 4 more of those, please, fellas?
I'll tell you what, we'll need 4 more of these Coles Express NBO1 South signs by the end of tonight.
You just need to start putting some padding in between those things. I know it's that little blue thing and brick wall, but down on this corner, you think that like when you're going to go kind of in it for a little bit of support, and then it just crumbles. Anyway, back to that dunk attempt. Zaglu had a little bit of a smile on his face on that pull.
Nice shot there by Lloyd. I like his game. I like his footwork. He's set up for his shot. He's done it a couple of times tonight.
Really
He's just nice and clean.
Digs that little 1-2 into the ground, clean footwork. Got him. Damn, Jordy. Jordy's got that. And any of his kids, I know he's out there, Mulgrave Primary.
Yes, home of the Mulgrave Mumbers.
That's Mr. Greer out there cooking people on the perimeter.
Ooh, that was a nice take there by Gibbs, but Rudolph was there to say not today.
Good rotation. You talk about good footwork as well, my God.
The footwork and body control.
He's got great footwork, great timing and reads. I don't know if that 3-ball was an anomaly. His jump shot would suggest otherwise. This is not an anomaly, though.
A little bit long.
Good look, though.
Bosby with the ball for the Miners.
He's got it hot. Nunawading still out to a 16-point lead. There's a little inside-out action. Again, he's been going against backs. Let's see how he goes against big fella here. Good D. And again, Will being really conscious of those 2 fouls, and again, he's been in foul trouble kind of all 3 games. He wasn't against Knox, but he's being very cautious, kind of playing with his chest up and playing, but no, credit to it. It's an awesome battle to watch here.
We see Coach Sunderland call an early Quest Berwick East timeout.
So, I'm the former player, you're the coach. You're down 16, 6:32 to go in the 3rd quarter. What's your 3rd quarter adjustments,
well,
Coach Flynn?
I think they're going to have to make some adjustments defensively. I mean, really, it's about keeping your man in front of you and making sure that you contain that penetration, but it's their rotations off penetration when Nunawading are kicking it out to the shooters on the perimeter. They've got to be really careful of. The closeout's probably just a little bit too long for them right now. Okay, so they need to make some adjustments on their split line rotation, but they really need to, right now with 6:30 left in this quarter, they probably need to string 3 stops consecutively to keep themselves within touching distance.
Yeah. And the conversation that you have with Coach kind of leading into the game is he's very cautious of the middle on ball, the middle on ball. And Nunawading is kind of notorious for first side, second side, third side, middle on ball. And Jack is, unfortunately, he's been out this game with foul trouble. And kind of the rest of the guys are, they'll play a little bit of kind of a different style sometimes.
Nice flare action there for Gibbs.
And they're doing a good job here of kind of mixing it in with first side scores, early throw ahead, kind of push and just explore that first side. So I think almost they kind of, with Jack Gandolfo not playing as many minutes, it's almost probably throwing off Sunderland's game plan about how they were going to be attacking. He's got to go to work on that one, Jordy. Good find, good extra, good efforts, though. Jordy, you can't handcuff your teammate. Just throw it with 6 seconds here. You do something with it.
That was a good push there by Ballarat down the floor. I thought it was they
go
got their feet in the paint.
run.
They got it out to Thorsby. It was a clean look. They just need a little bit more luck on their side to convert a couple of those.
Every time Will drives, I almost jump out of my seat. I got to be cautious of that. We were watching in a Knox game, just being a bit more of a fan, and I got to be there and have a little fun with it. I'm going to knock over a bunch of the table stuff here if I do. If I throw my head back, I'm hitting a brick wall. Speaking of brick walls, Will carry us to the foul line for 2 free throws.
And Nick Tata coming in as well.
Andre Drummond back into the game.
Good to see him back out there. He came out of halftime. He was in his sweats, so I thought we might not see him for the rest of the game, but it's good to see him back on the floor.
I hope if he's out here, he's cleared, he's good to go. I had some conversations about, when we're going to start workouts again and how he's going to ease, kind of back into this. And then apparently we're good to go. So, but hey, if that's, you trust medical staff and opinions, but you also listen to, you need people to protect you from yourself, but there is also, how much,
Nice split there by Gear. Good extra.
Pose on the line, though. That's a 2.
Get those size 14s back a bit.
Great extra. Great unselfishness. It's probably would have been just either of those shots. It's an under the rim kick out, step in 3. It's one of those where almost, you kind of probably want Carius to take that one. But that's a good job again. Just credit to the teammate he is, just finding those extras. Let's get Kingsley going as well. You know the value of him. Big time shot there. That's a box out by Tata. There's another one. But look, when you got a 20-point lead in that 3rd quarter, though, it's not that you just start getting trigger happy.
Oh, nice shot there by David. Much needed 3 by
good pull by Davidson. But again, you look at the teams and the rosters that you have out here when you play in, and you want to, good shot, good go onto the screen. Will's going to make those efforts. Blocked out. Got to slow the pace on this one. Slow the pace. going. Corner pocket, 3. Yeah, this is what coach probably going to burn the timeout here and get everybody under control.
Ballarat had numbers back on D there. I'm not quite sure we needed to go at it that early. They definitely had the numbers advantage. It's probably a good opportunity for Nunawading to get through a half-court set on that one, but
yeah, you almost got to take that. It's where you got to settle. You got to get guys in some pace. And that's honestly what sometimes the post game. Gibson 3, big one.
Look.
He's going to talk it too. It doesn't matter if that's his first 3 or his 14th 3 for the game. He's going to throw that up. He's one of those guys. It's just you do it. You get yourself going.
It was a good look. I'm sitting directly behind him, and that ball was dead straight out of his hands.
It's got gorgeous snap and rotation. This transition one, Zaglu's got it. I want to say he might hezzy pull this one too. Good. Pace is good. He wants that one. That's Cash. One dribble pull up. Cash for some change off the backboard. Those are the best ones, a little one dribble, especially him going to his right, like most everybody.
What impresses me with Gibbs is, his scorer's mentality, but he was quite happy to get rid of the ball and wait for it to come back.
Another one, 3 in a row. Cash it. Now that's Bugs. Bugs back out there now. Yeah, Bugs.
And Ballarat burn their second time out for the third quarter. Margin is out to 26.
We got a smile on Cuts' face. He's got to start smiling for some of those too. That's what I love about it too. He's got a, you got a young coach with a young team. You vibe off that energy. We were those older days. It's just kind of that veteran-led, kind of that style of play. Watching this group now, being part of a changing of the guards, literally almost the overhaul of a roster. It's not to be told that you're redundant as a player anymore, but you do kind of look at it and you go, all right, it's just this is the style that's going to be played. And even I know my own defensive type. I was a drop coverage. Kind of the energy and efforts, that I had. When I was 22, yeah, I could have been up stabbing on balls and kind of running that sprint effort, but it got to that stage and watching these guys getting out there and they get about each other all around that, kind of 21, 2 to 5, 6 era. They all kind of know what it's like. You got them bouncing around one another. There's a vibe out there, but again, with that youthful exuberance, sometimes you got to have that veteran leadership. Let's see if they can do it collectively, and that's where Cuts' poise and professionalism comes into play. Keep all these young guys under control.
Nice little fundamental jump shot there by Rudolph. That's your spot, Dane.
That's big fundamental.
That's your spot.
That's left block. He didn't fade as pretty as mine was, but that might be something hard.
Oh, nice take there by Will Carius. That's the and one.
You love that. Somebody who loves a 3 ball as much as him, his eyes light up. You see that lane split like that? Will driving in with that punch.
I'd like to say that reminded me of myself, but it didn't.
I was never a 1-foot jumper. My ankles are so destroyed. All I could ever do was 2 feet.
I wasn't a jumper at all.
Cash.
Nice 3-point play there.
You got a good-looking jumper, too, from Iowa boys. We're well coached. Shout out Jordan Delp, if there's any chance you're watching. Good little lefty floater.
Did well there. It was a good contested shot, but he was able to hang in the air a little bit there with his left. Just got the touch over. He's keeping the Miners just in touch.
Good find. Devers 3 ball, another corner pocket.
Spectres are good at moving that ball from
back,
side to side.
Settled in here. God, that lead is kind of below. When you're kind of just watching the game and seeing it unfold. Pace of the game has been outstanding too. The drives, the finishes, the execution. But there's only 2 fouls in this entire quarter. You can kind of see the little bit of fatigue. Gibbs here with a break, kind of going into this fourth. He'll get kind of that 2-minute rest and probably come in really early in the fourth and finish the game.
Davidson and Lloyd back in for the Miners.
I'd like to see a good shot by Box. Box loves that little drift to his left 3. Matched up in transition. You cannot lose Pizzaglu in transition. These little shot fake screen actions. Lenny, you're going to need to start finding imports out of the Midwest as well. Iowa and Indiana and Wisconsin, those are your 3 ones.
Maybe in a couple of years. I'm pretty happy with the ones I got at the moment.
Down the road, no, Brookshire was a monster tonight. And kind of watching her play, she fits so seamlessly into what you guys do. It's outstanding.
I think it's just impressive that she arrived on Monday, trained with us Tuesday. We had a game Thursday.
And then double-doubles?
A game today.
Double-doubles both games?
No, she didn't have one on Thursday. She would have had one tonight. But she's one of those players. She's come in, she's arrived, she's quite happy to, sort of just feel her way through, make sure that everybody's getting involved. I mean, she can score, she can facilitate. We saw tonight she can put the ball to the floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think she's going to be a good foot. Give her a couple more games, and I think she's going to be a bit of a problem in this league for some teams.
Absolutely. Kind of that elbow post thing. And this the crafty lefties, too. And she's got good touch, and kind of find around the rim.
Running left hook floater.
Yeah. That's good.
Nice ball movement by the Miners there.
Look good. Get up, Kingsley. Oh, dead-legged it. Good run.
Love an athletic layup.
That was his one dunk for the week, was versus Knox.
Yeah.
And I know you guys in your Australian fine system, he'll get a fine for that for sure.
Absolutely.
What was that worth, 5? Is that a 5 or is that at least a 10?
I don't know. I think Will's missed dunk before probably still gets him a bit more.
When you try to dunk on someone and miss, there's no way that's a fine.
Baxter will make sure he gets fined for that.
I hope the rest of the teams in the leagues do not fine the way that we did it. Player of the week, you'd get a, 5 to 10 seconds to talk that later. Good shot here, looking to pull. Good screen action. Kingsley open 3 ball. Good look there, Kingsley box. His 3 ball hasn't really been falling tonight. He's got that early one from the corner. But for the most part, again, he's been doing a good job. So they're finding and facilitating around the floor. Good look. Ooh. Had a chance.
3/4 time here at the Graveyard. Spectres lead 85-58. Miners with a bit of work to do heading into the 4th. I'll have a chat about it now.
No, it's been an outstanding game. Rudolph has still been an outstanding bright spot for him. Obviously all the things that he's been doing kind of interior and exterior. Pizzaglu's had a pretty quiet one, to be honest. I know it's kind of, but he's kind of met force with fourth here, and they've sent 2 or 3 bodies at him. They're doing a good job playing on the inside and outside, but the 3 ball has not been falling as kind of consistently. But that is where you have that good kind of, the old school throw it into the post. But what Nunawading is not going to do is they're not going to double off right now because they know Ballarat is going to score, and they know that they're going to try to find those threes. So they're going to say, all right, well, you're going to have to go to work. And right now they're 4 of 20 from the three-point line. Nunawading 13 of 35. And Nunawading's getting them up, and right now they're sitting at 37% from the floor, 63% from the 2. Mikey's got the loudest mic in the history of planet Earth. I will say it's nice in here, but it's hopefully it's not too loud on the headsets and on the screens for you guys. Ballarat is sitting at 11. Now Ballarat sitting at 11 turnovers for the game, though. They got 10 assists, 7 offensive rebounds. Nunawading still leading. It's pretty much split between 33 and 32 rebounds, 23 to 25. 10 offensive rebounds in the way of Nunawading. Nunawading's got 11 assists to Ballarat's 10. Nunawading has done a great job taking care of the basketball, though, with only 3 turnovers. Will Carius leading the way of scoring for Nunawading at 24. Rudolph sitting at 31 for the game with an entire 4th quarter to go, and he is not, he's actually starting off right now. Expect to see him back here, kind of leading into it. Gibbs is second in scoring with 20. Davidson at 14. So coaches' imports here for Ballarat are doing their job. Carius leading the way for rebounding, but Rudolph at 31 and 12. Monster game for him.
He is an absolute beast.
But Nunawading has just got firepower everywhere.
Great corner 3 there by D'Angelo.
What Will,
great find by Carius.
Absolutely. What Will has got this year, and all right, well, you look at the teams of, recently, differently than what I could do. he can break down players off of the bounce and his ability to really drive and create just the quicker decisions from the perimeter. And he drives, and if he drives and you're late, he finishes. You know, and if he drives and you double, he kicks. You know, I was always kind of a drive and get to my space, find my little middies. I would kick more out of the post. You know, my driving kicks from the perimeter, but he is outstanding at creating. He's actually played a little bit in one of the preseason games as the 3. And he can run that 3 because of his ability to shoot off of the catch and screens, but then put it on the floor and create as well. And this right here, that's a deadly little 2-man action. Kingsley's still going to keep putting them up. Those are all good looks. And you would take those as coach. You go, you know, sitting behind, they go under, pull that. 20, Amos Brooks here. Big, strong body. Oh, wait, Christian. Was that one of those where you make what's called an AKA business decision?
Spector's off for the races. Good ball movement there. Gets around to the top. That's another one by Carius from deep. The man is on fire this week.
Man has been hitting.
There is warning signs out to the league on Will Carius right now.
Coach Kelly, you watching? Already, Nunawading life for Hall of Famer, Coach Kelly, out at Southeast Melbourne, Phoenix. You got a Nunawading guy in the works.
The kickback is gone. That's 2 points for Brooks.
Good find, good effort there by Brooks on the second chance. Even Bax is like, what are you doing? Go back to him. Find it. You got plenty of time. 10 on the clock. Plenty of time. Corner pocket 3 again. D'Angelo. Bang!
Nice shot there by D'Angelo, backing it up.
How can you miss him with the shoes?
Him and Jordy Gear.
Grinch, Kobe 6 is out there. I do like that the league is not doing sneaker of the week.
This is one.
I reckon you'll see that creep into socials.
Yeah, if I'm doing sneaker of the week, honestly, it's Gandolfo's.
Foul, go Miners' way.
Gandolfo, only because I see a couple 20s out here, some GT cuts. Gandolfo's actually got the Kyrie 8 unreleased Infinities. It's the All-Star Game Infinities that were available on Nike. He told me the whole story for about 6 hours. And then they took him down because then the contract ended with Kyrie, and he somehow got a pair of them. So if he were to resell those, probably about $2,000. But what I love about Jack is he's a baller, and he's like, nah, I'm hooping in them. D'Angelo, another 3.
Why not?
Shoot it. Workhorse. I'd have shot a fadeaway, but
The thing that I like about that is I mean, the ball went into Carius. Now he's gone to work. That is probably the longest time the ball has stayed with one player in a Spectre's offense in probably this half of basketball. They're snapping the ball through hands and they're forcing quick rotations to Ballarat's defense. So even though that was really just a basic post-entry and post-move, like that is the longest time the ball is stuck in anyone's hands in an offense this half.
It does not stick. That's one of Cutler's, what is it, MO? Is that the word? Just one of, I don't even know what MO is an acronym for. But that's one of his things he's always saying. Get it through sides and hands. He wants that ball snap, and he wants, snap to what's next. He wants it kind of flying around. There is that element, though, of the pro game of slowing things down, and sometimes get it to your best player, get him space, let him go to work. But when you got a flow like this as a unit right now, where, D'Angelo's hitting his shots and Jordy's kind of making his plays, as Gibbs is hitting those threes. Another corner pocket 3 ball. Stay in the corner. There you go. When you got this many guys getting this many good, clean looks, Nunawading is, they're not a throw it in the post to kind of, they're just not going to throw it in the post and go to work.
Nice finish there by Brooks.
Kind of their post-entry play is going to be either from, kind of wing penetration, settle screens. They're going to play out of that bit of that high post-entry. Oh, get up, Christian. Good look. Great find there by Baxter on that back cut to D'Angelo. A bit of sweat spot on the floor. Good. The floor girls have been doing an awesome job with that out there tonight.
Shout out to the 12-1 girls.
Yeah. I would throw it in the post, and I'd see if you could just let Rudolph keep eating down there. But I don't think you want to go match up one-on-one. Lead is stretched out to a 30-point lead now, 98-67 now in the way of Nunawading. They have just been methodical, balanced in scoring. Our scoring sheet's only kind of the live stats has only got the top 3, but between carries is 29 now after 30 last night out at Knox. Gibbs is sitting at 20, Gear's sitting at 14. I know Coach is going to...
Gear's been good tonight. It's probably his better game for the season so far.
High post entry, come back off that second side handoff. Ballarat's still going to get out and run. Nunawading is just, they've had an answer for everything. They hadn't had an answer for this in the post.
And D'Angelo's not the answer for that in the post.
That is not the answer to the post, but they've had an answer for pretty much everything else. They haven't let Sobey really get off. Davidson's, he's a D3 player of the year. He's going to make his shots.
Oh, foul on the three-point shot there by Rudolph.
He's going to make his shots. He's got his 14. They've held Thosby to 10. Thosby's a consistent scorer, but, they've had a good answer across the board, and Nunawading has just been solid.
Carey is putting in his bid for the Foot Locker Player of the Week, backing up his 30 from Thursday night with what will hopefully tick over to a 30-pluser at the end of these foul shots.
No, absolutely. He's been solid, consistent.
I jinxed him.
Yep, that's the announcer's curse. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Again, if it always seems to happen. Knock this one down. 2. Takes him up to a double-double for the game. Double-double, geez. Had the point spread coverage. He got 10 rebounds for the game. He's hitting 30 and 10 for it. Make your free throws, young man. Hulk arms can't make free throw to the rim. If he's going to miss anything, it better be long. Let's see if Coleman Bach can do some work on him. Nope. Oh, good double.
Nice double. Got him out of his stance though.
With that little dream shake, it's just crispy.
Body control is impressive.
Split the double, and that it's always dangerous as a big when you do that little dream shake and then you forward pivot, like the tendency to shuffle your anchor foot. He keeps it down. He keeps it solid.
There's some rap on the foul shot hoops tonight.
I will say I'd like to see Gibbs back in this game. I mean, he was hot. He was rolling. I mean, I know they got a monster lead right now. They've stretched it up to still sitting at 30. I know you want to get those young guys, minutes. Carius out there still rolling. But, Gibbs is out here to hoop. He's out here to play.
That is not a good defensive possession there by the Spectres. It was great to see Ballarat get through the middle of it into the rim, but I think that said a little bit more about the Spectres' defense than it did about Ballarat's offense.
Yeah, that's another one that it's, a little bit complacent. You got a 30-point lead, I don't want to sprint back this possession. Cutts is never going to let that happen, though, where you just get complacent with letting anybody just walk back and instantly coming in on sub here. Beavers coming back in for the game, still getting his good minutes. Good hands and pick. Play it, it's still in play. Oh, good run. Nunawading still doing a good balanced scoring attack here, consistently across the board. Ballarat's body language looks like, I don't know if Coach is going to be kind of emptying the bench here. I know he's got a light bench, but he'll be emptying it pretty soon. Nunawading's just been too much this weekend. Too much for Knox. Too much here for Ballarat. Good effort, good work there by Coleman Bach here to try to get a second possession and effort. So these are kind of always, you kind of got up done pretty big. You know, you guys had, I think, about a 40-point win here tonight. I don't know if it's 40, 41, too. You know, kind of how this game is going to get either stretched out or not. You know, when you get those kind of as a coach, and you get those, you know, bit of a whooping. You know, you go into the locker room, you know, you kind of adjust and take, you know, what's your consistent message, you know, when you just get thumped, you know, kind of heading into a locker room?
Oh, look, to be honest, I don't talk a lot to my players after a win or a loss. I think anything that you say in the locker room post-game is going to be fueled by the emotion of the game. And as a coach, you're better off going away and reviewing it and addressing it before you hit your practice floor during the week.
Has that become kind of a consistent thing, you know, things you've picked up through? He's got to be about 80% from the floor, though. You know, kind of the time there with the Boomers, you know around the state, the program, and the coaches you've been around.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I mean,
basketball is clearly a game of emotions, and sometimes, you know, you want to feel that emotion either, you know, from your...
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely you do. And I mean, while you're in game, and that's the beauty of sport, you know, it does generate emotion both for the players, the fans, the coaches, and that sort of thing. But I think in terms of like your messaging, you want to be fairly consistent and considered with what you deliver to your players. It needs to be clear. It needs to be part of your process. So, as I said, like I think, you know, post-game, while you want to celebrate the wins, I don't think we need to overanalyze it. And same with your losses. You definitely don't want to say something that, you know, upon reflection may not be the wisest thing that comes out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm. So, not like Bobby Knight used to do. No, and that's where you always kind of see that in, you know, sometimes you, I don't know, I mean, as a player, and that's, again, it's to each their own. That's the difference in the program and understanding who, you kind of to each their own. You know, like I was one of those guys that you know, coming from the States, and it's just that difference of cultures, you expect to catch a spray. You know, I've ran sprints after games on road team floors in college when efforts weren't good enough. You know, and it's modern day, and it's you adjust with the times and how it goes, but I know nobody's going to, I don't know if anybody does that anymore. I'm sure there's some colleges that still do, but, you know, kind of back to this. It's awesome here seeing Coach Sunderland here and his guy Stosby come out and as Rudolph comes out. Obviously two frustrated guys with a loss here. You know, kind of two losses in a row. Kind of grabs both of them as they sub out of the game. You know, kind of hands on both the shoulders, looking them dead in the eye. You know, those are those little coaching moments. And that's where he doesn't need to go into the locker room and probably give them a big spray, because whatever he said to him right there, it's probably all that needs to be said for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be able to go away, review the film.
Number 7 out there, nice, you know, floor wiper. Shout out to Coach Flynn's daughter. Future probably NBL 1 Spectre.
I noticed she's not using a broom.
Nah, the brooms never work.
Not sure she knows what a broom is.
Into the game here, we've got Sauce. Alex McQueenie, first minutes into the game. Workhorse guy, another one of those guys just comes up from the youth league level. Played for Cuts for many years on that youth league team. Number 22 here for Nunawading, get some good minutes here with the Root. It's awesome to see. Absolutely outstanding guy as well. Spent some time with him. Getting into, I think he's a osteopath. You know, he's got a great practice that he's starting to get up and run his business. And absolutely, I've seen how he's helped me do some landscaping early on, kind of in our time together. And if the job that he does as an osteopath is indicative at all about his attention to detail and small works, he's going to be an outstanding professional at what he does. Great guy as well.
Nice kick out.
Hit one,
D'Angelo in his corner.
Hit those first two.
Hot from there early. I've been really impressed with Geordie Gear tonight.
He's played well. He's maintained the pace. He's breaking the paint, getting into gaps, throwing them in there. He looks half dead. Do you know what grade he teaches? Is it PE?
No idea.
I'll say shout out to Mr. Greer's class, if any of you guys are watching. You guys can talk some trash to him about hitting more threes next game, man. When you guys come back after school holidays. Great guy. I had an awesome time playing with him when the year that I was out on the court with him. 2 years I was out on the court with him. Great guy, works his butt off. You know, it's kind of fearless, always scrapping. I mean, he's one of those guys that also truly wants what's best for the team. Got a minute to go here in the game. Nunawading to stretch this lead out. 103-76. Nunawading has consistently been up around that century mark, that triple digits. Their pace, though, is indicative of that. Although the pace up the floor, though, talking to Coach Sunderland, I think I saw a stat that they are 19th of 19th in the league in terms of pace, I think, in the open court. These are some high-level metrics that I'm now being learned and exposed to. And I think they're 19 of 19 in pace, but I wouldn't think that in these two games they played recently. Coach Sunderland getting some young guys here on the bench. You got Jackson Talbot on the floor. Lingard's making his minutes. Riley Dunn getting on the floor too. He's a youth league guy as well from the last couple years.
Got great length.
Unbelievable length. He's trying to get him looked at a little bit for a kind of a Spire tryout last year. Good win, absolutely. Start to finish, closeout win here by the Nunawading Spectres. Final score 104-76. Top performer of the game is going to be Will Karras at 30 points and 10 rebounds, but the absolute standoff was Rudolph in the loss, 34-13. Gibbs finishes the game with 20-7. Jordan Greer with 17 points for the game. Gandolfo led the assist leaders with 5. Will Karras with 3. Devers with 3 as well. Absolutely outstanding performance by Nunawading. Coach Flynn, any final thoughts?
Look, I just think that was a good, fun game of basketball, and it's nice to see the Spectres rewarded for their hard work. That's 2 wins for them for round 2. It looks like they're starting to gel. The team chemistry's coming. A lot of new faces in the team this year, so I think there's some exciting signs as to what lies ahead for this Nunawading Spectres team.
Absolutely. No, they got a great group of guys. They got great contributions all across the board tonight. You know, you kind of get around each other on some of these wins where, like, you know, you felt that energy when they probably had that kind of 30-point lead built up. You know, like you kind of see them getting around each other. It's almost, it's kind of a cruisy win. You know, you go out, you take care of business sometimes. It's not always going to be that high energy bouncing around.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's impressive. I mean, they had a hard opening round, you know, lost to Mount Gambier. It was a tough ask to face the Pioneers in round 1, but you know, they've bounced back. Round 2's been good to them. They get 2 more opportunities to battle it out in round 3. I think they're at MSAC versus the Melbourne Tigers this coming Thursday, and then they've got to back up at home for the Anzac Day round.
Absolutely.
Versus local rivals, Kilsyth Cobras.
Yeah, back home on that 4th round there. So, and also, again, to Masi out there probably watching, you know, get healthy from that food poisoning, you know, coming back in as well. You know, and to get this done, even with a major contributing factor out. When he comes back in and they still got this group rolling, Spectres are going to be a dangerous team this year. So credit to them. Thank you for joining us on this NBO1 broadcast for our NBO1 South men's basketball game between the Ballarat Miners and the Nunawading Spectres. Congratulations to both teams. We will see you next weekend on Saturday.